Okay, so guys, it all set. Yes, everywhere don cast. Everywhere don cast. Just follow this video carefully. Everywhere don cast. So Bobrisky did not actually go to prison, right? Everywhere don.
If you not say that, I'm come out because war go happen here, war.
Both the EFCC, both Falz the bad guy, both his father, that is Femi Falana, that is the famous human rights lawyer, Bobrisky, and the Controller General of Nigerian prisons, Controller General. These are the um, the indicted persons in this case, in this issue that Very Dark Man raised. And I thank God for Very Dark Man. Very Dark Man has been one of the best persons so far. Nigeria should be so much appreciative of at this point in time in our own generation. Follow this video carefully. Follow this video carefully. Okay, now remember, as of months ago, Bobrisky just came out from prison. And when he came out from prison, he was looking so robust, so fresh. A lot of Nigerians were even imagining, are you sure this guy actually went to prison? Remember, Bobrisky was sentenced to uh, 6 months in prison after pleading guilty of being, mutilating the Nigerian currency, and of course, being charged to court. He was sentenced to 6 months in prison. And even as of that, before he was charged, because he was also charged along money laundering issue. But with time, the money laundering issue was being dropped, and he was only sentenced for mutilation of naira and the rest. But guess what? Yesterday, Very Dark Man busted everywhere, all over the internet. He busted everywhere. Yes, he busted everywhere. And as I'm talking to you now, the issue now is that one, one, Bobrisky did not actually go to prison. He was sentenced by court order, quite alright. But guess what? Instead of him being taken to prison, an apartment close to prison was arranged for him where he stayed till the period of the prison sentence, and he came out as if he has been sentenced to prison. Secondly, Bobrisky initially was charged for money laundering, but guess what? Bobrisky paid the sum of 15 million naira to the EFCC, and that particular charge was dropped, and he was now only sentenced for the mutilation of naira currency. Thirdly, Bobrisky again contacted Falzthedbadguy, who in turn contacted his father, and Bobrisky was now granted an order of what pardon based on the Minister of Justice in Abuja, and Bobrisky was no longer what kept in the prison custody, but rather 10 million naira was paid for such act, and Bobrisky was not being put in the prison, but he was kept in an apartment in the nearby prison uh, ambience. He was not in prison, but an apartment was special apartment was meant for him. So he was there incommunicado, improvising as if he was in prison, but meanwhile he was outside, refreshing himself, looking so robust. And after the due date for the prison sentence to be completed, he now came out as if he actually went to prison. So that is what is cooking now. Everywhere is hot now. But I must always, bring this gist to you guys, analyze it critically as a public analyst and social commentator. Must always do justice to issues or political issues as far as Nigeria and the world is concerned. But what does that supposed to tell you guys now? That in a country like Nigeria, in a country of Nigeria, that Nobody is safe. Nobody, no single soul is safe because our agencies are grossly corrupt, our judiciary, nothing to write home about, our executive, state of cataclysm. The poor masses have no hope in this country. And the laws of this country is strictly made for the poor. For as far as you are rich and connected, there is nothing you cannot be exempted from. There's nothing you cannot be exempted from. Now, looking at this Bobrisky's issue now, why would a private apartment be made available for Bobrisky while still being sentenced to a prison? That means the same agency that are for our laws are the ones breaking these same laws, are the ones making mess of our law system. Because I see no reason why the EFCC should be part and be involving himself in this gross misconduct, in this law chicanery. Highly lugubrious, highly reprehensible. Now, in the case of Falzthedbadguy and Femi Falana, now a lot of people have come out to say Femi Falana and the Falana that they are doing their job as lawyers, and lawyers are meant to defend criminals. We agree. We agree. So, but you are aware, especially for the bad guy and the father, you are aware that Bobrisky was not actually in prison, but rather a private apartment was made for him. But later you'll be coming out to claim that you're a human rights activist, that you are against corruption, that you are fighting corruption, that you are fighting our injustice in the country. Meanwhile, you are part of the injustice. You are part of the injustice. And you said you are the one fighting for justice in the country. So what? So who is fooling who? Who is fooling who? Who is fooling who? Now, if a personality of Femi Falana, Falzthedbadguy, and EFCC should stoop so low with Bobrisky in the name of connections. So what happens to our? Is it not obvious to you why Nigeria is the way it is today? That Nigeria is long gone, long dead and buried. Obviously, Nigeria is long gone, dead and buried because what we have presently is not a country. There is no absolutely nothing working in this country that Bobrisky is being sentenced to 6 months in prison, but was rather not in prison, but kept. So if Bobrisky could be treated this way, like as if he's an angel. So what happened to our top politicians that these persons have claimed that they were sentenced to prison? Probably they have also been kept in private apartments and been telling us that these people have been sentenced. Meanwhile, they are all fallacious. They are all fallacious, for God's sake. They are all fallacious, for God's sake. Nigeria is not safe. And the only thing I will say is that kudos to very dark man. Kudos to very dark man. Kudos to very dark.